Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you, Hector? How's it
I
going?
am doing amazing.
Cool.
It's been a crazy hectic week with all the painting stuff that we discussed last week, and I'm in the home stretch. I might actually finish tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Perhaps, maybe.
How big's the biggest one again?
Like 24 feet roughly in length, and about I'm gonna say maybe 12, 13 feet in width.
That's awesome. How long are they going to keep the thing up there, do you think?
Well, it's supposed to be for Restaurant Week, but I'm starting to find out that Restaurant Week, even though they call it that, is actually Restaurant Month. So it might they might actually stay out there for 2 to 2.5 weeks or something like that.
Do you have any permanent
I
things?
do.
Where are they?
There's 4 parks in West Palm Beach.
Right.
There is South Olive Park. I'm blanking out on the parks.
Is that you or Chalk Guys?
No, that's me.
Artist
Yeah,
Diaz.
Artist
right?
Diaz. Yeah. South Olive Park, Coleman Park.
Right. We're going to check some of these
Gaines
out.
Park and Howard
Right.
Park.
Oh, neat.
All 4 of them. They're permanent pieces. They were painted pre-pandemic, so they were like January of 2020.
Cool.
So they've been there a little bit over a year. Pretty high grade paint. They were sealed, etc. So
nice.
they're slated to hopefully last somewhere in the 3 to 5 year range if nobody destroys them. So,
Yeah, cool.
Vandalizes them.
So what about this? I want you to give
I'm
the exclusive about.
excited.
Yeah.
I am excited. So talked to David over at Matthews.
Yeah.
And we have locked in a date for 561 Music Fest. It
Yeah.
is happening, folks. It is happening. You heard it here first on 561 Music, 561 Music Fest, or 561 Music Festival. Let's ask the fans.
Yeah.
We're unsure of calling it 561 Music Fest or 561 Music Festival. Doesn't matter. We own both domains because we're savvy like that. Anyways, we're gonna figure all the little details out, like the name and things like that. There's definitely going to be huge opportunities for sponsorship. There's going to be the idea. It's going to be one day. It's going to be April 2nd. I'm sorry.
No music, right? Just pottery.
Just pottery. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
April 2nd of next year. April 2nd, 2022.
Yeah.
It is going to be an all-day affair. Matthews is open from 12 noon to 12 midnight, and we are going to have bands from 12 noon to 12 midnight. That is the plan.
We're thinking about 20, isn't it?
Probably somewhere, I mean, maybe even more than that because, you're looking at 12 hours, and we're thinking,
pack them in.
Yeah, 20 to 24 bands, somewhere in that ballpark. So several things in the next few weeks, maybe a month or so, start looking for our website to go up. Whatever name we land on, that will be the domain.
Yeah.
On that website, we'll have sponsorship opportunities. We're going to have 2 stages. We know that much. We're going to have a main stage, and then we're going to have an acoustic stage, and we're just going to rotate back and forth, so there's never any downtime.
Yeah, if you've ever been to Matthews, there's the big main stage, and then on the other side of it, there's a kind of like a raised kind of Diaz thing where you can kind of set up there.
Yeah, and after talking to Dave, there's some other stuff in the works that he's got as far as construction and things. So, as many of you know that have been to Dave's, to Matthews, there is a covered area on the outside there. Most of the outside is covered. They're going to do some other stuff so that by the time we get to festival time, we're probably going to be like 80 or 90% covered outside.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be really nice.
Yeah. It's a nice time of year too.
Yeah. So on the website, once everything is up and running, we'll have a submission page. If you're interested in playing or somebody that fits the bill, etc., you'll be able to go on there and submit suggestions for acts and bands and solo acts and acoustic acts and things like that. There'll be sponsorship opportunities because we have the 2 stages. We're probably going to have a main banner sponsor, and then we'll have each stage sponsored, like a named sponsored for the stage, and then maybe some smaller sponsors. We're not sure all the tiers yet, but we may even, if we have 20 bands, we may even just do each band, gets sponsored by someone if we can get that many sponsors, and then that way we can get the bands paid pretty easily.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. We're tossing around the idea of how much to charge at the door. It won't be much. We're talking, probably $10-15 or something like that. And you're getting for $15, if you're getting 20 to 24 bands, it's a deal.
Yeah.
That's a deal in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we're talking about Ben and I are discussing charities and things, and I think that a good portion of the money we're going to use towards some of it will go towards help defraying the cost of the podcast. Most of it we're probably going to do music scholarships for kids, local kids to take music lessons and things like that, and some charities, music charities, anything music related type charity, that I think is what we're going to want to do with that. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had to talk me out of it all going to the Ben's Solid Gold Top Hat Fund. But, it's fair enough. I get it.
Yeah. The Solid Gold pork pie collection.
yeah. Anyway, on the show today we have Jakob Takos. How's it going, man?
What's going on? I'm stoked for this festival and the pottery. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Now we have to have pottery.
I know, right? Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be so bad. I bet you there's some potters around here.
I know some potters.
Yeah, there you go.
They're very good, yeah.
So, how are you doing? And you all right?
Oh, dude, I'm doing good. It's a good day.
Yeah.
It's hot, but it's Florida.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I always admire your range of shirts. You and Rocky Rucker always rocking some pretty serious shirts, man.
Some of these get sent to me. A company's super massive store. I do some content for them and stuff too as well, and they just like, hey, take a bunch of shirts and
really?
Yeah. So it's a kind of a nice fair trade and nice building working relationship too. And
that's awesome. That has a much better story than I was expecting.
Right?
So you get sent shirts. That's gangster, man. That's super cool.
Between that, and then that Goodwill on Indiantown Road in Jupiter. Some nice
good finds.
Some
there,
really
right?
good finds. Dude, I found like a $200 banjo there for $20.
Yeah.
I found a bunch of nice button-down shirts too, and just trying to put myself together a little bit more, tucking my shirt, trying to be like, I'm here, I'm ready.
Yeah. I know. I could have gone sort of one of two ways, like smartened up or just really doubled down with the punk thing. And
dude, you're showing the
went
guns.
with the latter. All right, so let's start with some of these questions then. Why did you start playing music, and what was the situation and environment in which you kind of got brought into wanting to play music at an early age?
Well, I've always been just super interested in music, and music's just always been around my house, and just creative thinking and free thinking. And when I was in 5th grade, my childhood best friend, Nate Beal, just going over his house. We grew up skateboarding and just doing random stuff together and getting a bunch of fun trouble. But he played guitar with a bunch of people, and I just always viewed playing instruments as almost like a puzzle or a Rubik's Cube, where it's just like, it's possible to do, and there's a way to do it. But I mean, for someone just not knowing, like, it's too much, I'm just going to just put this away, whatever. But he just sat down with me, showed me a few chords, a bunch of just power chords, some Green Day songs, and just some like Tom Petty licks, and I was just immediately hooked. And then later that month, he sold me that guitar with a little amp. It's an Ibanez Geo. I still have it.
Cool.
And just like a little Ibanez amp.
How old were you when this was all going on?
I was like 5th grade, so probably like 10 or 11 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so sold it to me for like a best friend price, and I just sat in my bedroom, just played, just experimented, and not really realizing I was like bonding with the instrument, bonding with the sounds and the music, and also not realizing that my parents are very kind and supportive and patient, and me in the other room just loud as possible, just going nuts at it too. But then, of course, hitting that certain point where I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just kind of running my gears dry. But then a thing called YouTube came out.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm like, oh, what's this? I can watch music videos and pause them and then rewind them and look at that. So I was just staring at everybody's hands, trying to copy that. Then that kind of got to a certain point too. And then I just got some guitar lessons from Jupiter Music, Mike Kerr.
Oh,
actually,
there you go.
Yeah, he was my guitar teacher way back in the day.
He's a very good guitar player.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah, he is. And he was a phenomenal teacher, and he did exactly the right job of just getting me excited about the instrument and just music and playing guitar.
You know what I love about Mike is he always wants to play the guitar. It's like when I first moved down here, I met him quite early on just because I jumped straight into wanting to do music. And any time I'd be like at someone's house or something, he'd always be like, you want to jam? You know, he's like always up for it all the time. And so am I. So, it kind of really warmed me to him almost immediately. Like even though he's so good, he's not like snobby about it at all. You know?
No, that's the best. It's just like, what else you got in your pockets, dude? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But then even teaching, he's like, all right, here's some music theory, like the circle of fifths. I'm like, teach me that other song. He's like, okay. And then he was doing all the right things of trying to teach me. And then like I still have all the music books and stuff. Like he would like handwrite for me, and I go back and I'm like, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah.
Oh, just like those old moments kind of hit me there. But just having guitar lessons, and then that kind of got to the point. But then what really kind of just sparked everything was just playing music with other people. And that just was just like snowballed into this whole other world, and everything else wasn't the same of just me playing in the bedroom. I'm like, I got to jam and gel and connect with this person. I mean, and loop and whatnot. And
before we get into the bands you've been in and that sort of stuff, is there any artists that you were listening to or that you grew up listening to that kind of informed, like that really sort of drew you towards wanting to play music?
Oh yeah, well, like Green Day was a huge influence. I mean, just like those power chords, and that's kind of like being able to play along with those songs too. And it was just so easy to kind of catch on. A lot of Tom Petty, but I grew up playing a lot of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games.
Oh yeah,
and dude, the soundtracks were just amazing, and that's where I kind of found like Johnny Cash with I think Ring of Fire was in Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Right.
Yeah, and that was like, I don't know how old I was. I was like in elementary school or something like that. And I think Frank Sinatra was on there as well. And I just...
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like singing those songs. My mom's like, you don't even know, you're like, wait, how do you know that? How do you know that song?
Yeah,
sort of
awesome.
thing. But no, Johnny Cash, it was a huge influence. I just thought he was like the coolest. My mom, I remember like my elementary school graduation, she got me like I still have it, an old Johnny Cash book of just like all the chords in his songs, just
cool.
all the same chords over and over again and stuff. So like Johnny Cash, Green Day, kind of.
What I like about Johnny Cash is that they're quite sort of simple in terms of the chords, but there's always some kind of weird timing thing. You know what I mean? There's always something in the song which is like unusual and makes it very interesting. You know what I mean? Like not always. You know, something like Cocaine Blues or something is quite simple, but you look at like Ring of Fire or Walk the Line. You know, Walk the Line just keeps modulating in a really weird way, doesn't it? It's like
the intensity and the dynamics of the song, and just like the storytelling and his voice, and just his story of him and all that. Then I Walk the Line, the movie that came out, was awesome. Yeah. So
when he played it, did you ever see that Glastonbury set that he did? Did you ever see any footage of that in the 90s?
I can't recall.
So awesome. And like that was when he had his big comeback, when he sort of what's that enormous producer who with the beard, what's he called?
Yeah, no, he's bigger.
Rick Rubin.
Right? Yes.
When Rick Rubin started recording him and kind of brought him back into the public eye and everything, so awesome. And that's when I kind of discovered who he was, because I'm not American, and it took him becoming world famous again for it to kind of get across the channel for me.
Is that when he wrote Closer for Trent Reznor?
Well, Trent Reznor actually says that he did such a good job of it that it's just his song now.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah. But what a song!
That was a huge influence, and then kind of middle school, like Rise Against, and kind of like the Vans, Warped Tour, Bud's Bake Sale sort of style bands.
Oh, Bud's Bake Sale, there's a throwback.
Oh yeah,
that was good times.
And then kind of through high school, I found Mac Miller, like this guy, like his old mixtapes. I'm like, this is super different style, and
it's good. It's like I don't want to like Mac Miller, but I do, despite myself. It's like he's kind of has this sort of cocky vibe when you sort of see him, but he's really good. He
just loves music.
Yeah.
He just embodies it and just in creating, and that's where I really gravitated towards. And then kind of later in high school, I started listening to a little bit more reggae and like understanding it a little bit more too, and just like some Bob Marley, Dirty Heads, Sublime, and kind of stuff like that. And then my senior year, that's when I kind of got into my first real band.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's have a talk about the different bands that you've been around here.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning and go through them.
Yeah. Well, like my first real, like I've been playing in just random like church groups and stuff too as well. So that was kind of like my first real taste of just playing with like a drummer and a bass player and being able to live perform.
You know that when I came to Florida originally, and all my musician friends were doing church stuff. I mean, I know it does exist in England, but over here it's just such a huge thing.
Yeah,
it's enormous, and like nearly everyone I know, at some point or currently plays in church.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people do it. You know, like my friend Neil and my friend Micah and Rocky and all these people. You know, they got a church gig, and it's awesome. And you know, like I just want to go as a I don't know, a punter and check it out, a worshipper.
Just to scope it out. Yeah. I kind of got pushed into it. I've been in private school a lot of my life, and it's like, oh, Jacob plays guitar. You want to kind of play some lead? I'm like, no, I'm good. And then just being in like the worship setting, and then just see there's not a guitar player, and everyone's looking at me. I'm like, fine, all right, whatever. But I learned a lot from just kind of tone as well, and then just me playing lead guitar, and I would see the rhythm guitar player kind of playing these chords. I'm like, all right, I'll play something different. So that's where I kind of learned about like triads and really pretty arpeggiated chords and stuff like that, and adding reverb and chorus and some delay, and just kind of having some fun and really complimenting everything, because sometimes, dude, you'll see a church service with like 30 people on stage. It's like, who's doing what? This is crazy right now.
Oh yeah.
Sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and
I've just never been very good at getting up early on a Sunday morning. That's my problem.
Yeah, it's it's rough, especially if you're doing it's late night gig, and then just I
complain if I have to do like a brunch thing on a Sunday at like midday.
I got asked to do one church gig in my entire life, and I guess their bass player wasn't gonna be able to make it, and my buddy was like, he was in the church choir or something, and he's like, it was a gospel church or something, and he said, you know, hey, can you come? And like, you know, I'm not really big on theory and all that stuff, so I mean, like, I'm not the guy that can just sit down and play. Like, you got to give me a list of songs or something. He's like, oh, you'll be fine, just some root notes and stuff, you'll be fine. And like, I literally panicked about an hour before the service that Sunday morning, and I called him up. I was like, I'm sick, I can't go.
You called out sick on God.
So God, if you're listening, I did call in sick on you.
Oh man, he knows though.
Hey, you're forgiven.
I'm going to hell for that.
A, he knows, and B, I'm sure you're forgiven. All right.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like my first experience of like being accepted in kind of like a band and group, and just like certain talents. Like it was a very good, warm welcome into playing with different members and personalities and whatnot. And I did that for a little bit, and then like my senior year, Joey, who was on Caldereo, we did a band get together called Medallion.
Yeah.
Some like kind of reggae rock sort of stuff.
Cool.
Play at a place like
cool
Swampgrass Willie's and all that other stuff.
I just played there Saturday.
Oh yeah. Spot's still around. And then from there, we did a project called Sea Grape Soldiers. Because when we graduated from high school, some members went off to college.
When is this? Like what sort of how?
Like 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because I remember that I was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're significantly younger than me. So.
Oh, yeah. I was like 18, 18, 17. So I started gigging out when I was about like 17, I believe. Right. So it was like, so after high school, we kind of did something called Sea Grape Soldiers. And then from there, I went to the Helmsman. And then from there, did a bunch of other kind of like fill-in whatnot with certain other projects. And then now I'm just going to do my own thing. And then I have some other stuff cooking in the back.
All right.
Got a fun project. It's like a disco indie sort of thing with a female-fronted singer. It's still in the works. But if you want to follow the Instagram, Babe Honey Music.
Okay.
We got that going. But besides that, and just playing music and trying to have some fun while I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's awesome.
I, from seeing you play around, there's definitely. You and Joey have rubbed off on each other. You know, there's definitely some like of each of you in each of you. You know what I mean? When you listen to the music, it's there, which is cool. You know, it's like it's a style of, I guess, like just a reggae sensibility that's kind of, unique to you guys. You know, like you can hear the influence in there.
It's that Jupiter local, native, born and raised sort of mentality approach, I guess.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
So when it comes to writing music, do you have a process?
It's it's kind of different every time. Since I grew up predominantly playing guitar, I find that finding like a melody is a little bit harder for me. I mean, like I can hear it, but then the moment I open my mouth, since I'm not really a singer, it doesn't sound the same, and I immediately get discouraged. And I'm like, whatever. So like I'll kind of write all this stuff out, and so it really kind of comes with the music first. But sometimes I'll just like have like this saying in my head and just like put it in my notes section. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like put that down sort of there. And then I'm like, I kind of remember these chords, and like the saying will kind of come out to me more and more. And the more I've been singing and kind of doing my own stuff, just melodies start kind of coming out a little bit more and more. Yeah. So kind of the writing process, the music's really becoming first. But lately, since I know my weak point, I've been really trying to kind of focus on that. So it's the melodies. Yeah. So it's kind of vice versa.
I know that, like, I mean, you do a lot of solo stuff, and I know that like, since I've been doing more solo stuff, I've found that you really start to find out what you sound like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when everything's taken away and you just got to do something, like, it's like, okay, this is what I am.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely helpful in that way. And, I've said this on here before, but, there's a lot of people who kind of, who think that playing out in bars and doing cover versions and things can be detrimental to creativity, but I don't think that's true. That's all.
I think that kind of really just gave me some battle scars and just kind of built me up a little bit more. I mean, kind of just really doing my own, going out and kind of doing my own thing. I have a bunch of anxiety and just stuff I was kind of personally working on too, and that really just kind of honed in my own style. So that way, when I do play with my band and stuff, I feel like I'm ready. So like that whole last year of me just doing solo acoustic stuff to kind of try to pay the bills and just do what I can do sort of thing, but also not realizing that's like building me up to be a stronger and better musician so I can bring more to the table and being able to connect and understand a little bit more as well.
So with Jakob Takos and the Connection, does it have a fixed lineup?
Yeah, so how that kind of came about, when I was doing my own thing, I'm like, Jakob Takos, whoever wants to play, I got some originals, we'll have some fun, whatnot, yada, yada, yada. But thinking of a business standpoint, I've done some kind of creative public speaking, and I've done like with my business as well, and a bunch of other stuff too. So if someone's looking up, it's like, we want to book Jakob, but he's a photographer. And I was like, but so kind of, I can understand, kind of see the confusion a little bit too. And also some of the people I've been playing with, I'm like, I feel like this kind of deserves its own thing as well. And also I enjoy and want to do more original music and more showcase sort of stuff as well. And I gig out so much solo acoustic, it kind of, I see it as a business diluting the brand a little bit as well.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, Jake, and creativity, me and Hector were kind of talking about this before. Creativity and connection is two things I really hold dear and value to my life, and I try to funnel all that with my passion, which is music.
Yeah.
So creating, connecting, and I found some guys that I really gel with super well. So I just kind of, I remember eating dinner with my girlfriend. I'm like, the Connection. We Jakob Takos in the Connection. She's like, what are you thinking about right now? That's what you're thinking about? And I'm like, sorry, I gotta go. Facebook page, everything, rebrand. Here we go.
That's so funny.
And being able to kind of collab and create with certain these musicians. So yeah, kind of going back to your original question. I have kind of a core group of guys. Right. Mike Guido from Sons of a Tradesman.
Yep. Nice.
He's a Kevin Johnson from Spread the Dub. He's like, you got Mike Guido playing bass for you? Have you seen him play guitar? You got him. You put him on bass, and I'm like, yeah. Have you seen him play the bass? This dude's a monster musician. I remember Raggy Monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I found him. I saw Raggy show. I'm like, the fuck is this dude? This guy rips.
Yeah.
And then when I was kind of forming my own thing, I was friends with Mike on Facebook, and I saw he was doing like these solo covers. I'm like, oh my god, he does everything. Yeah. And he sings, and he's got really good sense of harmony too. And I'm like, be my band, please.
And he's really nice too.
And he's a sweetheart. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because we've hung out before when I was working at the Wolf Guitars, the guitar shop. I'd bring in different musicians to kind of just do different stuff with the product and whatnot. And that was one person I brought into demos and pedals. And so I'm like, dude, be in my band, blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm kind of just doing my own thing right now. I'm not really kind of committing to different bands. That's the time when Raggy kind of was splitting. I think Billy. His wife moved to California, and then I'm like, just do one show with me. And then he kind of did that one show, and then Sons of a Tradesman formed, and then he's like, we need a lead guitar player, and he's playing lead guitar, and then Mike's amazing. He just like lives and breathes and oozes music.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And then I have Corey Riccardi playing drums, and Chris Denny. That dude, he is. Have you heard of Chris Denny?
Yeah.
Dude, amazing guy, and he's got an insane music story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, lived in Korea for 10 plus years, professional doing music, and then kind of came back. Yeah, he's I'll let him tell his story.
Oh, we should get him on here. Yeah, there you go.
He's great. I have him playing drums, and then Royal Hayes. I've known him forever since high school.
Yeah.
He's playing guitar.
Cool.
And then anyone else who wants to kind of be a part of it, that's the connection.
I have to come and sneak on sax or something.
Dude, you're more than welcome.
That'd be fun. Yeah, like so I guess the next question is our favorite question, which is do you practice, and what do you practice?
Wow, he just had that like, oh crap look on his face. There's no wrong answer.
Some bullshit way to get around this.
There's no thinking about it all week. Like, how can I?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I've been here in every episode. I'm like, Well, here's my way of answering that question. My relationship of practicing has changed over the years. As the older I get, I realize my time is dwindling. I can't.
Yeah.
So, being in the car, and especially doing the solo acoustic stuff, learning a bunch of new covers, I'll just find a cover and just only listen to that song, be in the car, just singing, working on some vocal stuff too.
Yeah, the car's a good spot, for sure.
Love it. I hate to drive, so that way I'm like, you know what? Music, I like music, so I'll enjoy this a little bit more while I'm doing that. And then between that, then even like at the gym too, when I'm doing cardio, I'll listen to that one song that I'm working on, and I look like a psycho, like mouth is always like, dude.
Am I singing that for the 11th time?
Yeah, right.
You were in spectacular shape, so you do us all a disservice when you get changing your shirt to go to
figure out what's wrong with the green screen with all the green in front of me. I'm like, oh, that's the issue. Yeah, but between that and then also just trying to Royal Hayes is a freaking phenomenal guitar player too. So and even Mike and any other musician that I see something I like, I'm like, Can you what's going on there? Can you show me some of that? Teach me that. So any way I can kind of be educated and kind of absorb anything.
For sure.
So I kind of take that and then I try to apply, and I just try to apply it, even if it's like a small little step. So even just sitting down, pulling up some YouTube stuff, I'm like, I just feel like my playing's getting too dry. Guitar licks like John Mayer, try to find something and try to take that and not just take it for face value, but how I can implement it to kind of make it my own. Yeah. Stuff like that. And also I know my music theory is about preschool, kindergarten level. So I try to just put on some music theory stuff and just try to take it one step at a time. And so stuff like that. So
YouTube
no, I don't practice.
I know that's funny. The YouTube is like invaluable. I mean, I know it's obvious and everyone knows it, but I was watching a thing night before last, just before I went to sleep. I was watching something about a new way to play arpeggios that I didn't know, and it's just so cool. You just bop it on, especially now all the TVs are smart TVs. Oh
my god, it's so
just get in bed and go, watch it. Okay, let's watch a YouTube video on like some cool guitar thing, like immediately. So cool. I love the old smart. I'm such an old man. It's like smart TVs I think they're so cool, and I think they just.
I always say smart TVs make me feel dumb.
But dude, there's like the air fryer. That thing's awesome. I'm like, this thing's amazing. So there's little things like that where I'm so stoked over.
We got an air fryer about a year and a half ago. It changed our lives.
Really? My sister got me for Christmas.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it for myself, but I got it as a gift. I'm like, hash browns, fuck yeah, I'm put that in there.
Okay, I've got to get an air fryer now. This is like my shopping hour. That it's usually pedals, but now it's moved into
it's air fryers,
cooking equipment as well.
Well, I brought presents. You want me to give you some presents?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Brought some presents.
Absolutely. Look at that. I don't think we've ever had been given presents on air.
Hector, I see you dabble in some photography, right? Yeah. Well, I got you a little nice disposable camera from 60 Minute Photo.
I'm actually kind of digging that.
Dude, they're sweet, man.
Yeah, this old school, man. I'm digging that.
Man. Oh yeah,
nobody uses film anymore.
Dude,
it's
bringing
a lost
it back,
art, man.
Wouldn't it be funny if like that you just didn't get me anything. I spend the rest of the thing like butthurt.
And Hector, I also got you. Yeah. But yeah, take that into a 60-minute photo, get them developed. Hunter, spread it up. He's working there. So I do all my prints there as well. And
is it Hunter's family?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've probably been there 1,000 times over the years. I didn't realize it was them.
I know, it's awesome. And then Ben, I know you've been on the search for some delay pedals. So I got you
kidding me.
a nice reverb and delay.
Oh my God,
that's awesome.
Oh my
Take it with you, explore it, have some fun. So
that's crazy.
So a little
and
bit
when you're done, give it back.
No, that's the thing. I do want you to keep that. I really do, because this is what I believe. If something is given to me, I want to kind of, if I've served my purpose with it, especially with gear and pedals and stuff too, I just want to give it, because that's the thing. I've been given so many guitar pedals and gear and stuff too, and I just feel I feel tacky just kind of like selling them, just kind of make a quick buck little thing too. So I'd rather, like, I've served its purpose, I want to kind of do that. And that's
comes with the
it comes with the Velcro, a bunch of cat hair on it.
It's just gonna go straight. I'm not even kidding. After this, I'm just gonna bop it where the other one is immediately.
You do have a delay now, right?
I have a delay, but it's like one of those $20 like really not.
Gotcha.
That one's pretty fun. I mean, it is what it is with it, but dude, I mean, you can freaking...
Oh, it's better than the one I've got by miles. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, no problem. And I got one more gift for you guys.
That's awesome.
Something you probably will never ask for, but got you both. The new book, 111 Places in Palm Beach You Must Not Miss.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Jacob, you are welcome back anytime.
Jacob, I got to tell you, so there's a Walgreens like around the corner from my house. I mean, it's our, just a real close, where we shoot over to grab whatever. And there's a rack in there with books on an end cap, and it has, I don't know if this specific book is on there, but it has like all these like Palm Beach County books. Like one of them is like, like the 10 most haunted places in Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
And another one's like, the whatever 15 places. It's like all these like history books about, and like fact books about Palm Beach County. And every time I walk by the rack, I always think to myself, like, man, I really want to like pick one of those up, because I want to know more about, I'm born and raised here. I want to know more about it. Yeah. So this is going to get read, and this is absolutely amazing.
Well, it's cool. The author Crystal, her Instagram handle is Eat Palm Beach.
Right.
She's a local. She wrote about it. She is working with her. I've learned so much about just business and communicating with people. She's such a powerhouse of a person, an amazing person too. She goes above and beyond, and it's such a pleasure working with her. So she was the author of that, and I did all the photos for it.
Well, it's cool. You get to go to all these neat places too.
Yeah, 111 of them.
I see a Havana's Cuban coffee on the back. Sold.
Oh yeah,
sold.
My picture. I took my headshot in the back. It was funny when I picked that up at Barnes and Noble. I was looking at it, and someone was like, "Oh, can I help you?" And I'm like, "Hey, does this guy kind of look like me?" And then the guy's like, "No," and walks away.
Yeah, wow. You got significantly less hair in that picture.
Oh yeah, kind of let myself go over the few months, but
I think I'd go with the main dude. Looks cool.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. What rock it while you got it, man. I tell you what,
that is awesome.
I've hit the age where the old Wizzo's peaks are starting to march backwards. So rock it while you got it. That's my advice to you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your photography, because you're a very wonderful photographer and prolific, and I'd like to know a little bit about it.
Thank you. So I have a creative company. It's called Nothing Negative, where I just create consistent content, and just through being a working, gigging musician and just representing myself through digital media, social media. And I went to school for public relations too, so kind of having a little bit of...
I wonder why you're so good at it. Yeah.
I didn't finish though, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, through that, I've had just some businesses and people reach out to me like, "Hey, I really like the way you represent your band online. Can you help me with my local business?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's cool.
I can post some stuff on social media. That's easy." And then I'm like, "Just send me some photos." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "This is a really blurry picture." And then I'm like, "This is a picture of when you first open, and you don't even look like this. And this is like in like black and white." Yeah. And I'm like, I saw such a disconnect, and instead of hiring a photographer who kind of doesn't really know the relationship of this business and these people and what's currently going on, and I mean nothing against the photographer, because that's part of their job. They're hired to do that, and that's what they do.
Sure.
So I saw a need for creative, consistent content that doesn't really change anything, but represents what's currently already there through a creative eye and endeavor. So that's where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick up the camera and kind of figure it out and do it myself. And I've been very blessed and grateful that I've had a couple clients who are still with me today that have let me grow creatively, and understanding that creative trust has it has to be earned and not just handed to you.
Yeah, that's
sort of
awesome.
thing. So through that, been kind of
it's very smart. It's kind of high concept, the idea, and I didn't sort of fully grasp it immediately. Like when I saw, when you were like, well, it's this kind of, I'm taking pictures of stuff, but it's like a sort of a creative outlet at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely a. It's interesting because over the years with anything, you kind of like your ideas and business plan kind of gets like smaller, more just like targeted, sort of thing. My dad always calls me a bottle rocket without the bottle because I'm just freaking all over the place sometimes with stuff. But I mean, even
I can relate to that.
Yeah, even with
I'm right there with you.
It just never shuts off. But I mean, it's almost like kind of like the Cheesecake Factory model. Like the Cheesecake Factory, their menu is like literally all those pages compared to like a nice restaurant where that's the menu right there, and everything's prestige. So I've kind of gotten to my business and understanding where it's kind of going like that. So, and I don't have all the answers to social media, but I have the way that I do things too. So, and over the years, I've kind of consulted through social media, managed some pages as well, and I've been very blessed and fortunate enough to speak at like a social media conference 2-3 years ago in Charleston, South Carolina. A while ago, that was very intimidating and fun. People on my panel were like $500,000. They're talking about like 6-figure, 7-figure brand deals. I'm like, okay, how did I get here? But the panel was how to grow an audience, and it's probably bad I kind of said this, but I mean, I was just like, it shouldn't say how to grow an audience. I mean, no, how to grow a following. I'm like, it shouldn't say how to grow a following. You want to be able to create an audience. You want to be able to kind of create something that's, because what is 100,000 people following you that doesn't want to engage with you compared to like 1,000 people that are truly invested in what you're doing and truly care about you.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so it's kind of explaining that. Sure. And I understood that like my attention to detail and my more localized concept too, and the way I was speaking, because I didn't want to act like I'm freaking somebody that I'm not when I'm on that stage. And there's been so many times too where I said something at that panel and it was just dead quiet, and the girl next to me is like, "That's embarrassing." I'm like, "Shut up." But I mean, after that, I got a client.
Yeah,
from kind of talking from that. But so just through kind of doing that and taking like my understanding of just the way I do things and making it a creative business.
Well, it's a very sort of current sort of approach to things. I think, if you're just doing one thing these days, then you're just not even competitive. You know what I mean? Like most people, a lot of people who are successful now are very good at a lot of different things and incorporate it all, and in this kind of sort of in the creative sort of world that we all live in, you have to be able to turn your hand to different things, in order to survive, really, to make any money.
And a lot of it, though, I mean, I'm the perfect example of it, but I see a lot of people like yourself that do, that you have your hand in all these different things, like you said, the bottle rocket without the bottle, you're all over the place.
Yeah, Hector's laughing because
that's me. I mean, that's literally me. But it all connects in a way, though.
Yeah, it all falls under that umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, I do my street art, and that's an art thing, and I'm a graphic artist of 30 plus years, corporate, graphic arts and stuff. So I do design and web and all that kind of stuff.
Your real estate photography is crispy, man.
And that's something that like I literally just started doing. Like I don't think. I've owned that camera for a while now, and I don't think I knew 90% of how to use it. And in January, I sat back and I said, you know what? I want to do something different, mostly because of the street painting stuff. As much as I love it, I'm turning 50 this year, and it takes a toll on my body. I'm on my hands and knees, and I'm crawling around. I mean, my back starts hurting, my knees start hurting. It really beats the crap out of me. And so I was looking for something else. I do my graphics and stuff, and that's fairly sustainable, but I was looking for something else that I can also do.
Yeah.
And I came across some, Facebook things or whatever with some photography stuff, and I kind of stumbled around with the real estate photography idea and thought, well, I mean, I could do that. It's not like highly specialized, studio, whatever, fancy, artsy, whatever. It's pretty much, and I've been using Photoshop for 30 years, and Lightroom and all that stuff,
light
which
years
is
ahead of
which
people
is which is 80% of the battle. You know, I mean, realistically, you could take a really good photo, and if you don't have the Photoshop skills, it's just an okay photo. Yeah. Or you could take an okay photo and have Photoshop skills to make it a great photo.
Mm-hmm. So coming from someone who's not, I mean, I've messed around with photos in Photoshop a whole bunch, but like coming from someone who's not like that in the know of it, like, is it the same as with music where like what you put in is like 90% of what you get out, or can you kind of...
No. And the thing about Photoshop and really all those programs, but Photoshop, Illustrator, all those Adobe programs, I've had a lot of people ask me over the years, like, hey, how do I do this? And I'm like, well, that's like asking me how do you get to New York?
Right.
Well, you could go 90 different routes.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. There's a series of tools. Photoshop is not learning how to do things. It's learning what each one of those tools does.
Yeah.
More so than anything else. And the reason being is because
I'm still at that. Yeah.
I could literally give 3 different people, 5 different people that all know Photoshop really well, a starting point and an ending point, and give them a photograph and say, I want this to look like this. And I guarantee you none of them are going to do it the same way, but they're all going to end up at the same point.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. There's so many different ways to do things. So many different tools. So
I guess what I mean is, like, how important is the quality of the original photograph?
I think it's
pretty important.
So if you if you shoot a wedding in JPEG, there's not really much you can do because the quality is so compressed. Where like a raw image, where you can really kind of go in, and that's why I shoot with Sony, because I like the dynamic range, so I can like underexpose a photo if it's kind of dark in there, and I can still bring up the highlights and still be able to retain the quality. Yeah. But if I shot something in JPEG, it'll kind of be grainy and not really.
Which Sony are you using?
I use the A7 III. A7 III. Yeah, it's a nice workhorse of a kind. There's so many new cameras coming out.
I'm looking at that one for doing video and stuff. But
it's a good half and half. Yeah. That's why I liked it, because I mean I'm primarily a photographer. Yeah. But I do video stuff too, and I have done video stuff in the past, and I kind of wanted something half and half.
Well, and that's the thing about being scattered. Like I do all these different things, and now even within each one of those things, I'm scattered. As an artist, I'm not just a street artist. Like I do murals and I do paintings and I do street painting. I do 3D. I do 2D. As a photographer now, as a real estate photographer, primarily is what I do for photography. You go to my website, and it's not just like, hey, here's my price and I'll come out and shoot the house. It's, oh, well, I have these different packages where, I can shoot the inside and outside HDR. I can do drone. I can do video. I can do 3D walkthroughs with Matterport or Zillow and stuff. Like I have all these different services, and it's like this huge menu. It really is the Cheesecake Factory menu, and it's like I have all these different options, and I kind of went berserk. Instead of just saying like, oh, I'm just going to do this, I was like, I'm going to do it all.
It's hard being the one-stop shop. I mean, that kind of ends very quickly, or you kind of get burnt out from it. Especially doing it all yourself.
Yeah, I've been finding that more often, especially in this market right now, that more often than not, people are just going for the photography or the photography and drone. I haven't done much of the 3D stuff. I haven't done 3D tours. I haven't done much of video stuff. It's just not necessary in this market. I mean, honestly, somebody could throw some cell phone photos of a house online, and it would sell the next day.
And the best thing is, if they have the great personality, and if they leave like, I like that guy, I'm gonna call him back. These photos are okay, but man, I just loved hanging out with that guy, sort of thing. Yeah. Like the personality, just being a good hang is really kind of what gets there. Because that's what business is at the end of the day. It's a product and a service. Yeah. And if you can do both of those things very well, I mean, of course, there's financial side, but that's the inner scope of the business, but the outer scope is a product and a service. And if you can do both those things very well, you will have a successful business.
Absolutely. Being friendly is worth its weight in gold sometimes. Just being able to hang. Tell you what, let's sort of like funnel it a little bit back towards the music. Not the other stuff isn't interesting, because it absolutely is. And I think if someone's sort of going into media, this would be quite an interesting conversation to listen to.
We'll save that for the 561 photography podcast.
Which I would
561 entrepreneur podcast, or whatever the It's cold.
Do you have any like goals, musical goals in the future? Do you have anything that you're kind of like aiming towards? Like, are you looking to bring out like a record or anything like that?
Yeah, so I always try to look at every year of what am I doing different this year that's pushing me in a more positive, more productive direction than I was doing last year. So just kind of like stuff this year, really, COVID definitely did everything to everybody in such different ways. So it kind of brought also opportunity to kind of rebuild certain things as well. So just trying to get the band to a certain foundation, put another record out. We're working on the Sunshine Soul Volume 2 EP to kind of encapsulate and put all that together with, that's what I kind of call the Jakob Takos and the Connection sound, because Sunshine being like the South Florida beachy reggae, but not so typical reggae, but almost like that Donovan Frankenrider bluesy stuff, and then the soul, because the mountains and Johnny Cash have been like such a huge influence on me too. So like the folk element as well, but also just rhythm and blues. I love it. So that's where kind of Sunshine Soul was born. So I kind of, the way I write too, that's why I kind of just call that the EP, and the Volume 2 is going to kind of really kind of put it all together. So trying to work on the next record, kind of get all the guys together and just hash out those songs, and then just kind of take it day by day with doing better and new originals and better shows, and just kind of getting creative through the whole process.
Do you self-record, or would you be going to a studio?
So the first Sunshine Soul EP, we recorded everything at Mike Guido's place. We just we tracked everything there. He's got all the good stuff, and that's
I've been keeping an eye on, because I set up like that thing nerding out about music gear, and it's a Facebook group, in case you don't know. If anyone wants to nerd out about music gear with me, go to Nerding Out About Music Gear, and you can nerd out.
I always laugh when I get a notification. It's like your profile picture. It's like nerd out. I'm like, hell yeah, what's going on now?
Yeah, exactly. I always keep an eye on the stuff, because he's been getting some sort of new preamps and stuff like that. And
yeah. So I tracked everything there, and that's really what it is. Just kind of, if you get that tracking nice and good and clean, and then just send it to someone to get mixed and mastered. Really, because think of every Nashville studio at this point. It's just bedrooms and just rooms at this. So I tracked everything at the house.
That's what we did with No Name Star.
Yeah, and then Brian and Jeff from Raincat did. I went there to record my vocals, because I just felt like that was my weakest link, and I could use that extra coaching. And Brian was awesome working with me, really patient too, and just saying like, oh, let's try this, try that, and I'm like, oh, can you kind of sing that for me so I can kind of just mirror it a little bit, and just let me know with this, and just he got and it was just nice, and it was a really good experience too. So recorded vocals, and then he mixed and mastered it. So for this process, for Sunshine Soul Volume 2, Chris Denny, we're probably going to record it at his studio he's building. I won't say too much about it, because I know he's got things in the works, and it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I
feel like there's so much stuff like that going on at the moment down here. It's like, Rocky's been recording more bands, and you got 4010, and you got like Melody Ave.
Yeah,
you got here,
even this place, live music
community.
Yeah.
I'm going to be recording bands from here, and Yaz records bands from here, and Justin records bands out of here as well. Sometimes, we like, and then Raincat up there.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and then of course, what's that place right around the corner from my house in Jupiter?
Echo Beach.
Echo Beach,
which has been there forever, but still there. It's like there's a lot of options,
Yeah,
we recorded the first Nirvana tribute album that we did with the band at Echo Beach, and it was hilarious, because here we were, a Nirvana tribute band, and we come walking in, and we bought a block of, I don't know what it was, 20 hours or something, and here we go walking in.
You're going to say a block of cocaine? I don't
know. I bought a brick of marijuana. We walk in there, we bought a block of time, and the guy says to me, he's like, oh yeah, we've recorded some really famous people in here, like Celine Dion, and he said it to me like he was super proud, like I was gonna be impressed, and I was like, we're like in a on a
Yeah,
tribute
yeah.
band like Celine Dion's just not going to impress me, man. Sorry.
I think she lives. Didn't she have a place on Jupiter Island for a
yeah,
while?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Bee Gees in there.
But
too.
they have recorded some pretty big names.
I mean,
though.
you can't mess with the Bee Gees. They're kind of cheesy, but they're the Bee Gees.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
yeah. Where's Raincat at? Is that up
That's in
that way
Jensen.
too? Jensen. Okay.
Jensen Beach. Yeah.
I've heard a few people mention it now. I haven't been there before.
Yeah.
I know. I think that.
You guys get Brian Jeff in here.
I think that. Also, I think that once Killbillies gets his act together to record its new thing, we've got some new songs. That might be where we send it to get it mixed. Because I don't want to mix my own stuff anymore. Like I did it with No Name Scarred, the last No Name Scarred band record. And I'm not saying it did a bad job or anything like that. Quite the opposite. I think we did a good job, but it took ages, and it was really hard to get like objectivity.
Yeah.
Like I was too close to it. Like I can't. Sometimes it's difficult to tell if the thing you're doing is any good or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. That's why I knew I was in good hands, and they're good people, and just the communication was easy. I didn't really feel like I was bothering them about stuff or nitpicking or just being like weird and I gave him a huge chunk of money. And he was just super honest with him. He's like, "Hey man, I finished it in X amount of time, and you kind of overpaid me, so here you go." And I'm like,
"Oh wow."
I'm like, dude,
That's
you can
almost
keep it as a
unheard
tip. He's like, "No man, no, like there you go." So they're very stand up people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I tell you what,
a
that
rare
goes
quality these days.
Yeah, and it goes a long way too. Like you mentioned it right now, which makes me want to go with them even more. It goes a long way, that kind of thing. It really does.
And the best thing I like about it too is like they have been working gigging musicians too. So they understand as well, and I love that too, where they have one foot kind of in the business world and one foot in kind of like the working on the field, so they really get an understanding and a good perspective. That's why I like Michael Paparo Music. That's why he's setting up all my instruments. He's the luthier I go to. It's just nice that he knows the scene, he knows the people.
How often do you get How often do you have a professional look at your guitar?
Not
as often as you're supposed to.
Probably not until I actually have a problem.
Yeah, me too.
That's all of us.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you go over to the 561 Acoustic Lounge and play us a couple of tunes?
Oh,
nice.
Right now? Yeah.
Pass away the way you go. You don't know anymore wear me down to the floor. Help me through what's happening to you. Speak to me. I don't want to speak at all. Speak to me, and you can watch my fall. Tell the tale the way you do. Feel the fear in the way you move. Wear me down to the floor. Help me through what's happening to you. Speak to me. I don't want to speak at all. Speak to me, and you can watch my fall. Speak to me. I don't want to speak at all. Speak to me, and you can watch my fall. Speak to me. I don't want to speak at all. Speak to me, and you can watch my fall. Routines seem to leave when they are in need. Some say stranger things when they are in need. Urge to run, urge to leave when they are in need. Find the time to sit with me in quarantine. These days can seem the same when you are in need. Wait around, see the greed when you are in need. Selfish ways can deceive when you are in need. Find the time to sit with me in quarantine. 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 Where'd you go? The easy road, you probably know. I won't go anymore. You act so tall, can you see at all? You're self-absorbed, they all know. I can see the way you are. Every time you step too far, lie your way just to make your day. Whatever gets you to stay away. Push on through, if they only knew. They see true, they all know, they all know. I can see the way you are. Every time you step too far, lie your way just to make your day. Whatever gets you to stay away. And the truth we'll come to see eventually, just maybe. Now let it be away from me. I can see the way you are. Every time you step too far, lie your way just to make your day. Whatever gets you to stay away. Whatever gets you to stay away. Whatever gets you to stay away.
So, all right, we have a new sponsor for this episode, don't we, Hector?
Yeah. We have
Tell us about it.
Pigsty BBQ in Boynton Beach.
Yeah, I have some.
You got some information on them?
about that.
Yeah. I believe their website is pigstybbq.com, and they are in 706 West Boynton Beach Boulevard.
It's a local, family-owned and operated barbecue restaurant that does barbecue right. Voted best barbecue in South Florida with lunch specials every weekday and live music several times a month. Located at 706 West Boynton Beach Boulevard. And if you want to call them, it's 561-336-4533. And if you want to go and check out their website and salivate over some beautiful looking pictures of barbecue, you can go to pigstybbq.com.
Yeah. But don't call them and don't go to the website. Just go there and eat the food.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's going to change your life.
So you have something else to say about that place?
I do. You mentioned live music, and on I believe it is August 22nd. August 22nd. 6:30 p.m. at Pigsty, we're going to have the Rage Against the Machine tribute, Products of Rage, and that's our local boys, Alex Mandel, Rocky Rucker. These guys, if you have not seen them, they are absolutely ridiculously good. It is, and they pack the house everywhere they go.
Yeah,
I've seen these guys. Pack Matthews out completely, sell it out. I've seen them, they played with us when I was in the Nirvana tribute at to a essentially sold out show at the Kelsey Theater. I mean, these guys are that good. They're legit. So if you haven't
that's
seen
the real deal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Alex has just got so much energy with it. Rocky just slays on the bass. They're all sick. They're all great. And Alex works here actually at Live Music Community. We're very lucky to have him teaching people as part of our team.
Yeah, and they have a great youth band, kids band, Maximum Friction. That's going to be opening up for them. Those guys are really good too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
I have the pleasure of teaching Jasmine once a week.
Yeah,
she's in them. She is brutal on the bass.
We
were doing that crazy Metallica bass solo. You know that one? Have you ever heard it? It's just like a straight up, 5-minute. Weird distorted bass solo that Metallica did. It's on Kill 'Em All.
Oh man,
it's on that album, and she knows 3/4 of it already, and she's super good at it. She's like, oh yeah, can you help me learn the rest of it? I'm like, All right, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure it out faster than you. That's what I'm saying.
How old is she?
It's a good question. What is she like?
She's,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know,
I'm gonna guess around
Like
13, 14.
Yeah,
somewhere in
that's
that
what I would
ballpark.
say.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids are ridiculous to the point that every time I hear them, I have to lower my head in shame that I don't practice nearly as much as they do. Clearly,
Well, it's awesome how good they are,
Yeah.
and it's so nice to see. I think at some stage, coming up, we should get them on here. Actually,
Sure. Sure.
I think that they're sort of good enough where it's not weird to have young person's sort of band on here. I think it would. It's not like that. This show is the kind of show where we sort of have like school kids on it, but these guys are just so good.
Yeah.
It's almost
You
worth
can learn
having
from
them on.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. All right, yeah.
And then we have another sponsor for the show, right?
The other sponsor is Handlebars. As always, this episode is sponsored by Handlebars Bar and Grill. Jakob Takos has been there. He's played there, and he's also taken some wonderful pictures of it in the past.
Oh, yeah.
As well. It was very kind of it. It's it's in Sequester. It's on US 1. It's a biker bar, and but you don't have to ride a bike to come there. You can come and hang out with all the bikers. And Burnsy does the food. He's a real character, and the food's great. And we've got Jamie behind the bar, who is an absolute sweetheart and always good for a laugh.
Yeah.
And just come in, and there's a great selection of beers in there, and we do a bike night every second Thursday of the month, which is always a riot, and we get decent bands to play that. And then we have solo acts on Sundays, which is now it's from it's 4 to 7 now, and then on Saturdays we have live music in the evening as well, and it's a good laugh. Come and check it out.
Yeah, for
we
sure,
have a
man.
good time up there.
Yeah, great place. I mean, cool bikes, awesome beer,
Absolutely,
great food.
Yes.
What's not to like about it,
Exactly.
I love it. It's such a local legend spot. Me being born and raised in like the Jupiter de Cuesta area.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go to Judy's back in the day too.
Yeah.
And I just want to say you guys have really kind of kept the hospitality and just kind of like the life and the energy just going in there too.
Yeah,
It's all
awesome.
you always walk in with a warm welcome.
Well, what my father-in-law honestly wanted to do was just, rather than like turn it into something else, he just wanted to clean it up a little bit because it had got a bit grubby over the years, and just reopen it.
You
That's really
nailed the head nail, whatever the saying is. You did it. You did the job. No, exactly. I mean, I love the deck outside too, and just everything's nice and clean. Nothing's really
I love
dramatically
that
changed.
that sail shade thing that you guys put out there too. That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very difficult with planning in Sequester. Ideally we'd put like a rigid thing over there so that we could have bands rain or shine. But we've done everything that like we can do.
Sure. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
tough. But So can you tell us a little bit about what those songs were about?
Yeah. So Speak to Me. I was just having a conversation with somebody, and it was just got to the point where I was just tired of it. I mean, I just tired of I feel like I was saying all these things and it just wasn't sticking. And I'm like, why don't you just speak to me, because I don't want to speak at all. And I'm like, and I was just feeling like I don't know if this person could visibly see how like unconnected or like disinterested I was in this conversation, and like how I was kind of like emotionally being drained too. So that's where that kind of hook came about, but also just kind of in like a nice poppy way. But also, I was kind of like, I wanted to put a mirror in front of this person and be like, do you kind of see what's going on? So it's kind of like what the verses talk about a little bit. And then the chorus, like, speak to me because I don't want to speak at all. Speak to me and you can watch my fall, sort of thing.
Yeah.
In a nice little happy way. Then
I love these. I love a big theme said in a kind of like cheery sounding way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sure.
That's
Because
how I write
it's
too.
very, very frustrated, but I mean, I just kind of dumped it into a song, and that's the song wrote itself too. I mean, it was one of those moments where I walked inside and it was just the words and the melody and the music would just clicked all at once.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, the chords and like that saying, and I just wrote that down and we'll come back to it later. Just all hit me, and I'm like, I got to stop. Like, I need to find my guitar, and luckily I'm with the most supportive woman ever, my girlfriend, and she was super cool. So she's just like, oh, cool, he's doing that, okay. And then the song just kind of came out how what it was, and then.
Yeah, you have to be a certain sort of type of partner to want to be with a creative type. You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm off in my head all the time, and it drives Christy nuts. I mean, she's very patient with it, but it's still kind of a pain in the ass for her. Like because she'd be like talking to me, and I'm like. Just thinking about something, and it's not because I'm not interested in what she's saying. I just, as my mother put it, I have a rich inner life.
Yeah.
Our relationship's just very easy. I'm just never home, so there's no time to argue.
Well, that's one way of doing it.
Just never home. I'm always doing something somewhere, and it's not usually at home. So
yeah, I bet the pandemic was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, my next song was called Quarantine.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice segue.
I was doing I just remember when everyone was kind of in lockdown, and I was talking to some of my musician friends, and everyone's like, oh, dude, I love this. This is great. I've been writing every day. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And I'm like, shit, I gotta. Why am I not writing any music? And then I was kind of like, I was just been jamming on those kind of chords that didn't kind of looping that or whatever, and then just sarcastically screaming quarantine, and then like I get a text in the other room, my girlfriend's like, are you really just screaming quarantine over chords? And I'm like, yes. But then and then just seeing kind of just the craziness of just people fighting over toilet paper at Publix, and selfish ways can deceive. When you are in need, find the time to sit with me in quarantine. So kind of just understanding the other perspective of that person. But also, when I wrote the song, I just wanted to achieve and do something and do it different in quarantine. So that's why I'm like, I had this concept. We all can't see each other. I mean, and I want to respect that too as well. So, and also I like a nice little creative challenge. So
yeah, I
recorded the parts, sent it to Corey Riccardi to do the drums. He recorded that. He sent it to Adeline, who plays the violin, and they do Of One Mind. She did that. Then Royal played guitar. Then Mike did bass and some harmonies. And I'm like, everyone send me some selfie clips too, and then we'll all do like a cool little music video. So that's what kind of was the ability to have the engagement of other people. And we put out a little, just really rough demo.
One of those
on
fun,
YouTube.
like a cappella type. Did you do where you split it up in the video? Did you
Yeah. I mean, it's on YouTube.
Right.
But I just had everybody kind of like send me you doing quarantine things, and just people just at their house,
neat.
just kind of like chilling, doing whatnot. Then me just kind of playing in my bedroom,
really
and then
cool.
all the band members doing stuff. And
cool.
I wrote that song. I'm like, I will never play that out live. It's so whack. And also me just kind of playing at a restaurant, and someone's like, no, we're outside. I don't want to think about quarantine anymore, sort of thing. But it's got a nice jam. It's got a nice flow to it too, and I can loop it and kind of have some fun with some chords as well. And and also B minor. I can kind of transition that into a bunch of other songs too on my little cover set list I got. So
gotcha.
And and then the third song you did, now that one is a 561 Music exclusive, right?
Soundboard.
Never recorded, never released, not yet, anyways.
Yeah,
so
not yet.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that will be on. As of now, the first track on the Sunshine Soul Volume 2 EP. Recently, folk and just country has been like I got so used to saying like I don't like country, and which is so wrong. And over the years, I'm like I should never just kind of dismiss something immediately and put it, because I'm like, you know what, Chris Stapleton's pretty dope, and Brad Paisley rips too, and Tyler Childers or Childers, how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
What a beautiful man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then Charlie Crockett, that dude's the coolest.
Yeah. It's there's good stuff. It's there's all of the awful, terrible, sort of cheesy sort of pop music with a southern accent stuff. That's a thing, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But then there's country.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Like actual country, written by people who care about the music that they're making and, actually craft these beautiful songs. I mean, it's out there.
I mean, you guys have talked about it on the podcast in past episodes of just kind of like the evolution of reggae and how Florida's got its own reggae sound and just kind of like up the coast by Maryland's got its own reggae sound. I feel like country and this sound has taken such a different wave. I mean, that's why I really got gravitated like to Leon Bridges, and Charlie Crockett is from the Texas area as well. And then there's another guy called Grady Spencer in The Work.
Right.
Amazing, kind of just very bluesy country. He's got a very rich, like molasses voice. It's awesome. So I've been really kind of honed in on that. And then also I was on another musician, Tabitha Meeks from Mona Lisa Tribe, another musician, Micah Drum from Drum and Company. We decided to do a folk festival. Local based folk festival called Where I'm Bound. We did that kind of in West Palm in the month of February. And then the next month the world shut down.
Oh, wow.
So folk has been a very...
So it's your fault.
Yeah, right.
That gathering shut everyone down.
We got them. Doors closed, everything. I knew it. Got me. But no, it's. I didn't realize that was a big part of me, and also just going to the mountains as a kid too with my family, and hating it as a kid, but realizing now like the importance of just the importance of family and just how to kind of just sit back and relax a little bit and just kind of just embody it. So Stay Away though, the song is it's being creatives and working independently and for ourselves too. There's a lot of those people that, I mean, I took some entrepreneurship classes as well, and I like to call it entrepreneur because a lot of people like to kind of just start dishing shit, selling shit, and kind of just being like almost like kind of putting them there and doing that there. That's cool, man. You can do your thing, but just freaking stay away, sort of thing. So that's kind of what it's about. Just like seeing a bullshit artist and like, dude, I've like nothing but love. I mean, as whack and cheesy as that sounds too, but I just you do your thing, I'll do mine. Just gonna stay away.
Yeah, man.
It was a great song. I mean, it was really catchy and just a great song. I really liked it.
Totally. Yeah, Justin was really digging it. Back on the boards there.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna steal it, to be honest with you. So just I'm just gonna, now that he's got a recording of it, it's not yours anymore.
That's hilarious.
I got the best lawyers in town. Come at me.
Yeah, because this podcast can afford the best lawyers in town. We're lucky to afford a lawyer in town.
I'm an expert in bird law, so don't worry. I got this.
Bird law.
It's all right.
I took PR law for half a semester. I'm in this.
Well, let's talk a little bit about his gear, pedal board.
Oh yeah.
Justin, you want to bring up?
I got two boards. Let's see.
There you go.
Okay, so this is my solo setup. This one needs some work, ain't gonna lie, but
got the mints there. That's crucial.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone's like, "What's in the Altoids?" It's your mints, and I'm like,
it's the pedal.
It's my mints where I keep my secrets.
It keeps your sound fresh. It's the fresh pedal.
If anyone that is not a musician that sees that on a board, they're usually just keeping guitar picks or like a capo in there, or maybe some notes or whatnot. But so top right corner, I have a Shure. I don't know the model, but it's a wireless tuner, and that thing's awesome, and it's honestly probably one of the most accurate tuners I've ever used. I personally think. And
who's it made by again?
Oh, Sure, yeah. And right. I put that on my acoustic board because when I'm doing the solo acoustic stuff, it's easy to kind of like be able to walk around and hear myself too. And before pre-COVID, being able to kind of have fun and get in people's faces and stuff too, and just really go nuts with it as well. You're looking at that board.
I know, we got the same one, dude.
That one's just straight reverb. I gave it a little more special.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
You're like, did you just rip that off your board?
I was trying to figure it out.
I was thinking the same thing, actually. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at it going, wait, that's the same pedal.
For a second, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. We're going to be like pedal buddies. But, this has got more stuff on it.
Oh, yeah. And then, so from the wireless tuner, I go to my mini wall, the Crybaby, which I've owned. I feel like I've owned way too many walls at this point, dude. I've spent like over $300 on like a really nice expensive wall.
Yeah.
I love that wall. I love the mini wall. It's awesome. It sounds great. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it does.
So that one, and then I go to the micro Qtron. I put some painter's tape over it because I just have particular tone that I like dial in sometimes.
See, that's a smarter way of doing it than the way because I've been
Yeah.
like fixing my things and then just duct taping them over so they can't move. But I took all the duct tape off like this weekend because I'm like I'm experimenting with my gear at home because my wife is away and I've got all my stuff out like all in the living room. But like I think that's smarter. It's less messy than the way I was doing it.
You can quickly reference it and just turn the dial right to those settings real quick.
And then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do that, and then have another layer underneath, and you do 1, 2 for whatever songs. But
Yeah.
I forgot, I took that from somebody, obviously, but I'm trying to think who. It might have been Mike McCleary from Surfer Blood, and
Yeah.
just.
We
We
got to
gotta
get
get
them
those
on here,
guys
actually.
on there.
Well, they
Yeah.
said they would do it. I spoke to him. He said he wants to do it. So
Oh, well, book it, man.
yeah, absolutely.
I
yeah.
love those guys.
Can
I've
I
seen
just
them
be in the
several
other room and
times.
just peek in and be like, "What's that?"
Oh, yeah, dude, you're always welcome.
Oh yeah, and then just some digital reverb, and then I have an RC20, I believe, and I bought that off of Micah Scott actually.
Really?
Yeah, way back in the day. And then I have everything powered by just a power supply, but really Pump House Coffee is what powers me, just a lot of caffeine. So I put that sticker over the power.
There was a lot of back and forthing of pedals with me and Micah back in the day. There's a very high chance that at some point I owned that looper.
Do you have a possible was it like Bill Clinton or George Bush like speech like programmed into that? Because I
That's
mean,
interesting.
dude, I've
Because-
messed with it a little bit sometimes, and like there's some random program. Like I swear I've heard like a presidential speech of some sort in there.
That's funny.
It wouldn't surprise me because at one point in time with Sonic Boom 6, it was a very sort of, political thing, and we used to add in
Yeah.
samples and stuff like that.
You think
so-
you'd recognize it if I like kind of just like
Yeah,
really
maybe,
looked at
yeah.
it? Yeah, no, we'll do that after. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
sitting right over there.
That's really interesting.
But yeah, that's
funny.
that's my acoustic board, and I try to keep it simple. I had the huge RC 300, and the more I put pedals on there, and the more I kind of get distracted in my own little world, and I look up and I'm like, oh, these people just want to hear Wagon Wheel. All right, whatever. So I try to have
Been
that
there.
feeling.
yeah, and
Been there.
use less is more. So the mini wall, I like to kind of use that as just kind of like a pad, a layer, but also just you can kind of like if I'm doing lead stuff, I can kind of get crunchier, like some trebly stuff. And then the Qtron, I love that envelope filter, that wetness and that sound. And then just splash some reverb, and then there's a lot you can do with the little loop stuff too. But I'm not a loop artist, and I
Yeah.
also tell people that too. I would much rather play with my band at any
yeah.
time, but it's all tools and kind of gets the job done.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Let's see the big fella. All right.
I am very proud of getting this done just in time. Huge shout out to Bryant. I don't even want to bother saying the last name because I'll probably butcher it, but it's I'm not gonna do it.
Palm Beach Cables.
Yeah, Palm Beach Cables. Yeah.
I worked with him for a short stint, and
Oh, yeah?
he actually just made a bunch of cables for us for Killbillies.
Killbillies.
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
some red ones.
That's-
I'm working on his logo so that we can splash it on the screen and
Hell yeah.
and push him on the show here.
Dude, he seriously, I can't thank him enough. He really, really went above and beyond, and
Yeah, that looks
and that's
amazing.
what I
Yeah.
just love about it because I did not expect him to really go this in depth with it. Everything was measured, everything was right. All these custom cables. I don't even want to kind of bother to explain the science behind it, but my tone is completely different now. Everything's
really?
way like everyone's talking about cables this, cables that. Like I mean, all the real tone snobs, and you can go freaking crazy with that. But I notice a huge difference with my tone. It's like a blanket was just kind of taken off the amp.
Yeah.
Brian is like he's an engineer.
electric- yeah, he's an engineer,
He's an engineer,
yeah.
like an electronics engineer.
And a working
everything.
musician.
wow.
So
Yeah.
he has the best of
Yeah.
both worlds and the
Yeah.
understanding. But so he completely decked that out, custom cables and all, and that big orange cable. He did that too, and just I'm still super stoked over it. And underneath it, I should have took a picture, and he even asked me to take a picture. Sorry, Brian, I forgot. But all like the custom little power cables too underneath it, just
Yeah.
beautiful. So no crazy spaghetti work, but
What's that little blue guy above the mini wah?
the little perfect square.
Yeah.
So running from the top, that's a little poly tuner.
Right.
Underneath it, it's actually purple. It is a envelope filter my buddy made. He has a company called AWOL Pedals.
Oh,
it's
cool.
very unique. I met him when I was doing Summer NAMM with my guitar strap endorsement, Revo guitar straps.
Yeah.
And awesome dude. He just builds these nice little boutique custom guitar pedals, and they're all nice pocket size, small. He's like a compression pedal, a fuzz pedal, and he just came out with that envelope one. So I'm a big sucker for like that Tom Misch, Jerry Garcia, John Mayer tone of that.
Really cool.
Got the mini wall, and then that the white boxy looking that's my overdrive. It's my Mike Marsh pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
dude.
up Mike Marsh.
Dude, it's the real deal. It's like kind of like it's a tube screamer, but it's just different. It's got its own character to it. I feel like there's more you can do with like kind of the dials. You really kind of just go dirty, crunchy.
I had a Mike
get
Marsh
nuts.
overdrive. I got drunk at a gig and lost it. But,
Oh, no.
Terrible shame. Yeah.
If I have an extra one, and if I come back, and if I bring more presents. But hey, if you want to expand a little bit more on the delay side, that was the first pedal I ever got, the TC Electronic Nova Delay. My mom got
Right.
me that for Christmas, and the painter's tape on top of it,
Yeah.
to kind of get my tone dialed in. But I love that delay. You can do a bunch of presets. If you like stomp both like your feet and hit both of the pedals, which is like the left one's on, the right one's tap too. So I just have something what I want, different songs. If I'm doing like some reggae stuff, kind of tap it and really kind of match the drums a little bit too. And then
Cool.
that's going up to the Liquid Chorus. The company Visual Sound. I don't even think they're a company anymore. If you remember them, Visual Sound?
I don't.
Yeah, they made
I
a bunch of random affordable pedals.
Okay.
They were good. I mean, if you ever see some Visual Sound pedals, they were good. We sold them at Wolf Guitars for a while. That's how I found. That's why I found out about them. They had a compression pedal that was good. They had a bunch of overdrives that were really good too. And I just wanted something different. And then the chorus was awesome. So and people think chorus is cheesy, but you know what?
I have a tiny bit on my setup. Like barely noticeable. It just fattens up a tiny little bit. Yeah. Like to the point where you wouldn't know there was chorus on it.
Yeah.
Like, but it's there though.
Yeah. No, it's exactly. You kind of use it as like that flavor. Sort of thing. So I have that, and then that goes into my Flint from Strymon. It is a reverb and tremolo. In one. That Strymon, man, they make just seriously quality pedals. When I was in California NAMM, I went to the Strymon booth, and I'm like, yes, there's no one around me. I'm going to have my time with the headphones in and not have my playing embarrass myself with all these crazy shredders. And I just dove into like all these pedals, and I knew exactly what I liked and what I didn't like. And then this one guy next to me, he's like, oh man, like, can I? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I heard him talking to somebody, and he was like, yeah, working with the 9, this. I'm like, the 9 what? The 9 what? Then someone said like, he's like, yeah, that's 9 Inch Nails guitar player. I'm like, oh shit, okay.
The
yeah,
9.
you can use that.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like what else?
You can use whatever you want.
And then going up, that's actually another pedal my buddy Aaron from AWOL made. It's just kind of a nice, clean boost. So if I'm kind of just doing some rhythmic stuff and I just want a little bit more body behind it, I kind of punch that on.
Cool.
And then sometimes if I just want to melt some faces, I'll throw literally everything on.
I love it.
No, I'll put that on with the Mike Marsh to kind of really get like a nice driving solo. But with like the church worship, like the ambient noise, that Flint with the reverb, chorus, and then like dotted delays and like tap tempo right, that is just money with my nice.
I love that your pedal board is branded.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Brian did that for me. I mean,
that's cool.
that's my phone number's on there, so I just taped that off for security purposes. But no, I didn't even ask him to do that. He did that, and that's what I'm saying about people who really kind of deliver a product and a service.
Yeah,
and he went above and beyond.
Let's give Brian a quick shout out. He's a really good guy, musician, electronics engineer. So he knows his stuff forwards and backwards on both fronts.
Yeah.
So he is on Instagram at at Palm Beach Cable Shop.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the cable that you had hanging there was one of his cables. Yeah, it's crazy. You can pick the tips of it, the different materials, golds and whatever. Yeah. You can pick the different outer sheathing and inner sheathing and like all of it, like all the different colors and all the different combinations. And it's like really good high quality cables.
I got to get my stuff to him. I'm like, you've reminded me that because he was like, you got to give me your pedal board, like I can sort it out for you. He said that to me. Like,
and his last name was Forsyth, Brian Forsyth.
Forsyth.
Oh, there you go. Forsyth. A good English name, that Forsyth. Yeah.
So shout out to Brian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good guy.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're seriously like a working gigging musician, and these are tools to the trade, and your pedal board. He always says like you're as good as your weakest link, sort of thing. I mean, I'd highly consider doing that with your board.
Yeah,
or even just getting like a good cable from him.
Yeah, totally. If there's anyone out there who has a board as messy as mine, send it to him. He'll sort it out for you, and I'm going to definitely do that. All right. So the last thing we do is we talk about gigs coming up.
Yeah. So you have several gigs coming up this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, I threw them on my phone. Let me check it out real quick. So this Friday I'm playing at I'm not sure. It's a new restaurant, but I think it's in a gated community, so I'm not sure if it's open to the public just yet.
Interesting.
Playing for the first time, so I'm pretty excited for that. But
a restaurant in a gated community?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's a new restaurant. Then I got the email. She was saying like, oh, it's a gated thing, so check this and do that. I'm like, oh, so I don't know if it's like I'll find out and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, for sure.
But some public gigs this Saturday. I'm playing at Rosemary Square, 1 to 3.
Ooh,
and then
hot.
Well, luckily they provide the tents.
Oh, perfect.
Luckily they give water.
Lots of fans.
Shout out Rosemary Square. They take care of their people, and it's one of my favorite places to play. It's
cool.
awesome. It's really cool. But yeah, I play from 1 to 3, and I think Brett Staska plays like right after too. They're booking great musicians too.
Fantastic.
And supporting the scene. And then Sunday,
what's up, Rosemary Square? Have Killbillies.
Killbillies. Oh, I'll put the word in.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I'll do. Yeah, they do some. I've seen some like trio stuff there, like on Saturday nights and stuff as well.
Right.
It's, yeah, fun. And then Sunday, I'm at Papa Kwan's in Juno Beach. It's like a coffee cafe, acai bowls, little breakfast sandwiches and stuff too. It's always just a good time, a good vibe.
Always hopping there.
Yeah, it's dude, fun. And they're growing like crazy as well. And it's just another one of my favorite places to play. Just good people, welcoming. I'm not expecting anything insane, crazy of like, oh my God, music, bow down sort of thing. But just, hey, we're happy to see you, happy to be here. And the people there appreciate music too. I don't feel like I'm bothering anybody.
So it can be a bit like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. So Sunday, fun day. But besides those solo acoustic stuff, some fun shows we got going on. September 17th, Jakob Takos and The Connection. We're doing Bumblefest.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh yeah, and
that'll be a good time.
Yeah, if you don't like me, you should still go to Bumblefest because there's so many good. I think Surfer Blood's on the lineup too. Yeah, it's gonna be a really good time. September 17th, and then September 25th at Grandview Marketplace. I'm opening up for Brett Staska. He's doing his big release party there.
Awesome.
He's releasing a ton of new music. And I think he's really making it like an event. I think he's gonna do it like during the day as well too, at like I think like 3 o'clock ish. But that's something to look out to. September 25th, Brett Staska releasing some new music.
Awesome, that's exciting.
Release parties are always fun too.
Oh yeah.
We got to get him on here, man. We got to do.
Ben just did No Name Ska release CD release on Saturday, which is a hell of a good time. That was such a fun.
I saw you were like, oh my God.
Well,
space like.
You know, I don't know. It's not that I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I've seen plenty of ska bands. I knew what to expect, but it was just, you know, my interaction with you has pretty much been Killbillies up until now, and so.
It's not the same vibe.
No.
Yeah.
And I know about Sonic Boom 6, and I've watched some videos of you playing and stuff like that, or you singing and everything. And it's like, but to see it live. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just a completely different side of you, like a whole different vibe.
Cool. That makes me happy.
But it was really cool. It was really cool, and I love the dynamic. With you guys, singing back and forth and everything. And I mean, your horn section sounds like so full, and it's just a trombone and a saxophone, but it sounds like you have 5-6 instruments playing.
The first time I saw you guys was Dallas Singer Island for the grand opening, because I was there creating content for the big grand opening. You guys. That's
right. And that's okay. So that's why we've been on every flyer for that place for like the past 5 years.
Because of the photos I took.
Because we only played it one time, and we were like, anytime there's any live music about that spot, it's like, was that pictures from? It's like me on it. Like I got a mailer in my mailbox, and it's like, and at the time, Killbillies hadn't played there for like the longest time. We since have done. We last year we had Das on Singer Island like 3 times or so, but like I hadn't played there in like forever and ever, and I was getting like these things in my mail of me playing. I was like,
that's hilarious.
But I could definitely attest to what you're saying, Hector, because I mean, just there's moments, and that's what I love about doing what I do with like creating with musicians too, because I'll be doing that and then just kind of set the camera down. I'm like, dude, this band is sick. I mean, just such high energy too, because I was used to seeing you as kind of Killbillies, folk, and kind of like setting the vibe for the room sort of thing. But dude, I just wanted to skate a half pipe and just listen to Tony Hawk when I was listening to you guys. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man. So definitely there's some there's some nostalgia in there, but we're also trying to do some fresh stuff too.
And I'm gonna say, I've listened to the CD a couple times now, and it's good. It's a very good CD. I like the vibe. I like the music. It's mixed very well, mastered very well. It's very good. But there is just no comparison to the live show. Like you had sent me some files and stuff to give a listen to, a little while back when you guys first got them mixed and everything and mastered. And, I listened to them a few times and I was like, man, this is really good. I really like this. And so I was really anxious to try to get from my show to your show, that night,
and thank you very much for doing that, by the way. That was must have been a ball ache.
No, of course. But yeah, man, I mean, then you guys came out and started playing and I was just blown away. Like it's not that the CD is not good. The CD is wonderful. But you guys just have such an energy and such a presence live.
I got to tell you, the guys
0
in the
to
band
100.
the guys in the band are gonna be really like stoked to hear you say that. It's we hadn't done it in so long, and we all got a huge kick out of the gig. Like it's just been forever since we've done it, and I was even a bit worried, like, oh god, can I even remember like how to do that?
No, it was
that vibe. Just get into that mindset.
It was awesome. Like again, just not having seen you do that live like that before. And I've never seen Matt perform either. So
that's what I was going to say too. I always knew him from just propaganda, and that was one of the first places I would play with Joey, and I just listened to Matt's podcast with you, and it was just so awesome. Because
it was just this wall of energy and wall of music
seeing
coming
him perform,
at you that you were like, damn.
Love seeing musicians just get rooted into the performance too, and just connected and gel, and just everything's so right. I'm like, man, everyone's right where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, that's very flattering. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
guys.
no, very enjoyed it very much. So on the not as exciting side, the Killbillies are playing this weekend. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're doing a very exciting set at Brick and Barrel on Friday night.
I'm gonna come in a dress or something. I'm gonna really amp it up for you. I see what we're gonna take it up a notch by the sound of things.
I went to the show. I went to the show at Prop. And Rocky jumped off the stage into the mosh pit with this bass.
Oh shit!
I'm just gonna have to do that with the stand-up bass now to one up him.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to mosh with the stand-up bass.
Start eating people's food at Brick and Barrel, just
right?
Yeah.
We're playing Brick and Barrel Friday, 9 to 12 at Ebacoa. And Saturday we are 8 to 11 at Walking Tree Brewery, which is in Vero.
Yeah, so we're up in Vero, and
that's a fun place.
It is. It's a huge room.
Yeah,
and it's cool because we sort of just play right. I mean, it's not uncommon these days, but we're playing right where the beer's being brewed with those huge, it's like ginormous like canister things either side of us. It's cool.
And it's cool. I mean, they set up a stage for us there and everything, and so we just play on the stage, and I mean, they have right behind us is all the beer stuff that's being brewed and packaged, and right in front of us is a bar with tables and people watching us
Everyone's
play.
happy to have some beer and music.
It's hilarious.
And it's
awesome.
As someone who's sort of sober, it's quite nice for me because we got to be playing about 100 feet from the bar.
Yeah.
The place is enormous.
Yeah.
So you don't really, it's a brewery, but at the same time, it's just this big, awesome, nice
Yeah.
sort of room. So I enjoy playing there.
And then, do you got any solo gigs on Sunday, or are you?
Not this Sunday, no.
Okay.
I'm just,
All right, cool.
I'm chilling this Sunday.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we appreciate you coming out, Jacob. It was
thank you.
It
Yeah,
was
thank you. This
a
has been
pleasure. It was fantastic. It was fun. I mean, this was a great interview.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Thank you for having me. You guys are doing a lot, and don't stop. I mean, keep bringing people on. I mean, for me, selfishly at least, because I love this podcast. I love learning more and more from just other musicians and other people's stories.
Awesome.
I mean, even like Mick from Spread the Dove, I didn't know he was such a Greta Van Fleet fan. I mean, right? That's that's something new to me. But I mean, besides that, no, you guys are doing good things for the community, and I'm all supportive of that.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
that,
Yeah, nice one. I just really enjoy it, honestly. Like, I pretty much don't do things I don't enjoy doing, so that's why we do it. Like, it's a good laugh. Yeah. All right, well, cool. So who is it next week? Who we got next week? Let's check.
I thought it was String Assassins, but we weren't sure if.
Oh, no, it is.
It is.
It is.
They
Yeah.
are coming.
And
Okay,
you got all of them,
perfect.
like Dr. J, Mangrove.
I think it's going to
Couple
be
of 'em.
Mangrove and Paddy.
Nice.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's who we're going to get in.
Yeah, that'll be fun then.
Yeah, and they're coming. They I checked on that because Matt has moved away. He moved to
That's
North
right,
Carolina, I
yeah.
think. And he was the person. I've known Matt for a long time. He used to sometimes dep for me in Killbillies and sometimes just play with us in Killbillies. And so I know him from that. And he used to come and watch me play before String Assassins was a thing. So I've known him for quite a long time. And so he was my point of contact. So I was reaching out to him, and then all of a sudden, he's moved away. So I was like, what do I do? So he gave me Mark's number, and I sorted it out. So yeah, they're still coming.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
All right.
Can't
well,
wait for that.
Yeah,
thank
man.
you very much. See you later,
Thanks
guys.
a lot, man.